You are listening to the Law Enforcement Pirate Radio Network. Radio Free Larry presiding.
You can run, but you can't hide.
Radio Free Larry.
All right, here we go again. Trying to pull out of a parking spot here. All right, saying this shot. So the weather's nice enough today that I could have actually rode my bicycle, but I'm resupplying myself with things such as water, so I will take advantage of this. And like I said, it was strange. I've been in error. I should have rented a car instead of getting an Uber. It comes out to almost the same price. It's a few dollars more for the car rental, but you get to use the vehicle for 24 hours, and it's a lot more convenient. Now, of course, there's some gas involved, but again, it's making multiple trips and taking care of things. I don't want to get a car because I want to ride bicycles. And actually, I have to go over to my storage unit, hopefully, before I return. This is not necessarily. I could actually walk to my storage unit, but I want to get my regular bicycle and bring it over to my place where I live. And I want to start fixing that up and testing that so I could start using that on short trips also as soon as I'm a little bit better. And, of course, building up my stamina. Because there's hills around. If there was no hills around here, I wouldn't worry about it. And I probably could make it, but I don't feel like stressing my body that far yet. I'm very careful when I get in shape. I've been that way my whole life. I have a progressive program that I engage in, and eventually I'm there. But I've lost a lot of weight. This is working wonderfully. Changed my diet. I eat a lot of yogurts and pasta. I was eating fruits, but I think it's the pineapples. I think they're very acidic. I think that was, along with the chocolate, was causing the issue. Because I had some fruit yesterday. I felt fine because I kept the pineapples out, and then I put the pineapples in, and I'm like, ugh. So I'm thinking culprits also. But yet, there was this acidic taste around something I was eating or drinking. So again, whatever it was. I'll adjust and adapt and overcome. So, the theory, if he would only shut up, we would let him be. So again, the tree in the woods make a sound when it falls if nobody's there to hear it. Of course it does. Again, you wouldn't be hearing from me, and they'd be saying they weren't doing it. And if, in fact, they have actually several, God's reminding me, they have several mechanisms they use to cover that. But one they would use is that I've already spoken and said to them, therefore they can't let me go because I've already done enough damage to the deep state in reality, whatever it is they would use as an excuse. But they would use that and say, oh, well, we're not going to stop. Obviously, he said too much, So, again, it's all a scam that if he would only shut up and we would let him be and all of those type of things. Again, the president learned that. The president's absolutely learned that. He stopped speaking and stopped doing certain things, and they just want to control his life. So you realize Trey Gowdy and Lindsey Graham want what the deep state wants. So the deep state wants Stone to pay. Now, they may have received from NSA or from Russians or whoever it is the code to go after Stone. and they get it, and then they do it. Or they had specific meetings, one or the other, maybe both. Remember, the entire thing was brought about by Russians and Chinese subverting our country. And they became what those governments are. Because it's easier, and don't let Pelosi tell you that President Trump's with Russians. She's with Russians, and so is Schumer. Pull up the photos. Obama was with Russians. Hey, I'll lie to the voter, and Medvedev, I'll make deals with you as soon as the election's over. So again, that was Obama's line there. But they also will say, well, he's committed this crime and he's committed that crime. They never stop. They're just gone in the mind. They're the most corrupt pieces of garbage communists that have ever been in this country. Trey Gowdy's a communist. He's a conservative communist, but a communist all the same. He believes that there's a class of people that deserve and a class of people that don't. And he believes in state capitalism. That if the government people, and it's not necessarily the government itself because we're not that far, but if the government employees believe somebody shouldn't have a business, then they don't get a business. If the government employees believe somebody should have a business, then they get a business. Communism. Who do you think, who's Vladimir Putin? A government employee. Who is Vladimir Putin? A Soviet government employee. Same frickin' thing in Baltimore, Maryland. Same frickin' thing in Naples, Florida. Same frickin' thing in New Mexico. Same frickin' thing in Oklahoma. Same frickin' thing here in Texas. Criminal communists. Deciding who will live and who will die. They're psychotic. Once they flip the trigger, they murder people. And then they cause others to try to murder people that they want murdered. Or get that person to act out as a mass shooter and say, you need us. Remember, the Garland incident happened 1 month before the Patriot Act vote. They were out there tearing up Texas to get a positive reaction to the Patriot Act vote, and it worked. This is the problem. You keep paying the deep state for criminal activity. Of course they're going to keep doing it. Barr's making systems to make sure they don't do it. That system is toothless. It's not going to do anything to anybody. He's sending those messages personally. You don't worry about what I'm doing to make further regulation because I'm never going to do anything to you. You can do it and we'll make you rich and famous like Comey and McCabe. The $6 million man, Comey, the corrupt piece of garbage transnational criminal boss. And don't hyper-focus on Comey. It's all of them. If the deep state instructed, I should say, if the deep state, because it goes different ways, they don't necessarily speak. If the deep state instructed Trey Gowdy to be Comey, he'd be Comey. That's how it works. No other way. They got dirt on Trey Gowdy. That's what it is. They're extorting him, but then again, they also pay him. And then again, he's murdered people. So you see that trinity of evil there. They extort them, they pay them, and then they act to murder somebody, and therefore they're in for life. So never make Trey Gowdy president, never make Lindsey Graham president. We need to replace Barr, no matter what anybody says. Everybody's being hit in the head with this idea that Barr's not corrupt. Listen to Tom Fitton. Tom Fitton's not going to come out and totally say it because he's got to keep his name in lights for a while, and they'll sometimes block him. If I go, you know what? If I go and I start free crediting your, you may have no followers or a few followers. They did this to. What's his name? They're trying to take his name from me. What's the Ohio congressman? Wrestler. It keeps coming up, Bill Thompson. Bill Thompson was like either a prisoner, a Federal Bureau of Prisons guy, or get out of the head, all of you, or deputy marshal, or inspector, or something like that. Not Jim Inhofe. I'm getting closer. Jim Jordan. I went to Jim Jordan's page, and he had no followers. As soon as I started following him, he had thousands of followers. He may have followers, but he didn't have people on his page liking his posts. So every message I posted was front and center. But when they put like thousands of people in there and hundreds of responses, then your response isn't seen as easily. And that's if they can see them. I mean, obviously, NSA can block some of my posts and some of my tweets. And of course, NSA could steer them to your page by pulling you up all the time and putting you in their feed and then putting information around it that piques their interest. But they can do the reverse also. Of course, they're not. Well, you know what? The funny thing is, having a gay director of intelligence is funny because that's half the stuff that they put on people. People are like, don't tell people I'm gay. I'm not gay. They're going to be like, oh, you're gay. Like, yeah, what of it? They can't use that extortion thing. They're going to be trying to make me gay. President Trump knows what he's doing. He's like, because God's telling him what to do. Now, he's not perfect, and he hasn't taken down the deep state yet, but because he believes something that's not real, like Trey Gowdy actually supports it. Remember, if they told him to be Comey, he'd be Comey. And that's why he doesn't talk to Barr. President Trump does know that if he speaks to Barr or anybody in the Justice Department outside of social media, that they'll make up a lie about him and wonder if they should put him in prison for it. The Bible speaks about people not wanting to be part of you anymore. That's happening over you. Everything I'm doing is biblical. You can't talk to those jokers, those clowns, those communists, those criminals in the DOJ and the FBI. Come on. You can't trust them for nothing. They're not about national security. They're about criminal enterprise and communist expansion. Well, praise God in all that you do. Praise God.
You are listening to the Law Enforcement Pirate Radio Network. Radio Free Larry, residing.
You can run, but you can't hide.